Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel today. We're back on Gran Turismo Sport and we're catching up with our last FIA race. This is something we're going to start getting back on the channel, the recaps of the FIA races, to help with the people that can't watch the streams. I have heard a lot of people mentioning they would like it if I carried on doing these like highlight videos of the FIA races. So this is what we're doing today. If you do enjoy this video, please take a few seconds, hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. So in this race, we're driving at Interlagos in the Group 4 cars. I'm driving for Corvette. Obviously, that is my manufacturer of choice for this season. Unfortunately, it doesn't really suit me, but yeah, we're going to see what we can do. This is our first ever day. This was the first ever day that we tried the Fanatec out, and I am absolutely loving it. Managed to qualify P8 with no slipstream. I think we could have got, we were 2 tenths up I think on our lap, and with no slipstream on our next lap without a slipstream, and bottled the last corner, so we probably could have started about P4 I think in this FIA race, but unfortunately had to make do with P8. Let's see where we can get to in the race. We had to use all the replay cameras for the footage because I forgot to record while I was live. It's something that I'm going to try and remember to do every time we're doing FIAs, to record the race so that we've got all the deltas there. But for this one, we're going to use the replay camera. You can see starting from P8 in the Corvette, we've got some fast cars in front of us. We've got Viper, a Lamborghini, and I think another Corvette up ahead. So let's see how this goes. Let's see if we can make up some positions and have a good entertaining race. That is the main thing. One thing I will tell you about the Fanatec that I'm experiencing is I'm able to really judge the apex is so much better with this wheel. I don't know what it is. It's the feel. There seems to be less feeling of understeer in the Fanatec, which actually makes me feel like I'm not understeering so much. It's probably just a placebo effect, but I much prefer it. As we see, Spider in front of us goes wide right on opening lap. We're going to go for a move down the inside, manage to get that move stuck. Can we stick it in for the next corner, make sure that he doesn't get back through on the inside? It looks like we're just going to be able to do it. The grunt of the Corvette enabling us just to get ourselves up into P7 straight away. So a solid start to the race. We're going to have to go defensive through here. We're going to go side by side, you see, giving Spider a bit of space on the outside there, or the inside and then the outside of this corner. He runs a little bit wide there. We're going to get on the power nice and early, and we've made that move 6. Some great racing there as we now head off in pursuit of P6 in that Viper. So we have to try and do some tidy driving here now because the cars in front have got the slipstream. We're at the weak end of the tow. Obviously, when you're over 1 second away from the car in front, the slipstream isn't very strong anymore. So from 1 second to 1.5 it's a little bit weaker, but from 1 second below it's still as strong as it ever was. I'm hoping that at some point they're going to consider going back to the original slipstream, but you know, let's not worry about that for this race as we fast forward the action just for the straight there where there wasn't much action going on, and we're going to go into the middle sector now where we're taking this right hand corner, hooking that curb up really nicely, getting on the power nice and early, and we try and brake very late here. You can see I misjudged the braking. I tried to really go in aggressively, and that's made a bit of a mistake there, and that's gives Spider the opportunity to go around on the inside and then get the outside for that corner and then back into the inside for this corner. So he looks like he's going to get himself back up to his starting position of P7. You can see we're trying to fight it as much as I can, holding that inside line. This is some great racing going on here. You can see lifting off the throttle here and another lift there to try and give him some space on the outside. Just about enough room for both of us to go through there, but compromising our entry into this corner because of the line that we took, and now he's going to undercut us on the inside and get that P7 back. So unfortunately, that hard work that we did all undone by one very silly mistake in the braking zone. Just braked a little bit too late. I think I was concentrating too much on the Viper in front, and unfortunately that gives the Lamborghini the ability to get back up into P7. So now we just have to try and get the rhythm going, follow Spider. If he makes any mistakes, we'll take advantage of it and hope we can get into that battle that's in front of us. You can see that the gap between P4 and P3 has increased quite a bit there. P2 and 3, P1's gone, B Racer is completely gone by the looks of it in the NSX, and P2 and 3 have pulled quite a big gap on that opening few laps. That's going to be very hard to close it down, as we see Francis there on the left hand side, I think, having an absolutely massive penalty. I'm not sure what's gone on there, but looks like he had a bigger penalty, 4-second penalty or something. So his race pretty much over there, but that puts us up back into P7 now. So we've gained 1 position from our start position, and you can see that Spider there trying to close back in on the Viper in front of him. We're having no trouble really staying with that Lamborghini. The Corvette actually pretty strong round here. So I didn't do any practice races for this FIA race. We just did a bit of time trial and jumped on. I think a lot of people probably did quite a few practice races. I think if I had done quite a few practices, and warmed up for this properly, I think our pace would have been quite strong, because I found that with this new Fanatec wheel, I'm really finding every car I try just feels so much better than the TGT. This is probably just something to do with the force feedback suiting myself more than the TGT did, but I much prefer it, much smoother wheel. You can change the settings on the steering wheel to your liking. I really prefer the wheel. Much bigger diameter on the wheel as well. That's one thing that I really like as we fast forward the action, as we're just following the Lamborghini at this stage. Not much action going on. It's just a case of slipstream following. Everyone's in a slipstream, so you just got to try not to make a mistake, because if you do make a little mistake, you're going to lose a big chunk of the slipstream. As we're now right behind Spider there, you can see that we've got Stefanzi behind us in the Hyundai. We've got Lamborghini in front of us, a Dodge Viper there, and the Corvette in P4. So a bit of a train going on here. Can't afford to make any mistakes. You can see the gap between P2 and 3 has come down a bit there as we nudge Spider there. I think he ran a little bit wide into the corner, so a little nudge. Luckily, none of us get a penalty there. I just backed off a bit to make sure that we didn't hit him again. But then into the final corner, trying to get a nice solid exit from here. Really important to get on the power early. You see how everyone using the full width of the track. You had to be very careful you didn't go too far wide out of that corner. There was a possibility of picking up a penalty. I think that's what actually happened on my second run in qualifying, was I really pushed it through there. We ran really wide and we got a penalty, whereas it didn't probably gain us that much, but we probably actually lost time, because when you run wide, you get on the curb, you bounce over the dirt and you lose a bit of time. But yeah, we picked up a penalty on our qualifying lap, I think, for doing that. But you can see now the gap's very close between P4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 just behind. You can see on this replay camera now, just look how close this racing is. Very evenly matched racing. I love these replay cameras on Gran Turismo Sport. I really like the ones that are really low down on the track. As the cars sweep past, I really enjoy watching the game from these camera angles. And yeah, let's hope that GT7 incorporates them type of views. I'm pretty sure it will, with the improved visuals on that game as well. As we carry on following Spider in that Lamborghini, just waiting for an opportunity, hoping that someone's going to make a mistake, because it's really a case of keeping it smooth. If someone makes a mistake, you've got to take advantage of, because when everyone's picking up a slipstream, it's very hard to actually get enough run off that final corner, because you're in the dirty air going into the final corner. It's very hard to actually get an overtake done around there. So if no one makes a mistake, you've got to really just try and work a move somehow. As you see, trying to push Spider into the inside line there and then going wide to try and get a better exit. Just trying different things to see if we can get better exits and try and force mistakes. But you can see didn't get the best line through there and dropped back a bit here. But now we're going to have to try and get a nice solid entry into the final corner on the power nice and early, and then use some of that curb. Didn't use the full bit of the curb there. Didn't probably take as much speed as I could have done. But yeah, you see how these Lamborghini in front of us, driven by Spider, used that full bit of exit and actually gained a little bit on the acceleration. And now we're back into that slipstream. Corvette, obviously quite a strong car down the straight lines, so able to pull a bit back on the straight, but just not enough to go for a move. You can see also Spider, even with the Lamborghini's top speed, just isn't able to get in position to go for a move on the Viper in front of him, because the Viper's picking up that slipstream from the Corvette. So yeah, it is just a game of waiting for someone to make a mistake, really. And the car in front, he's able to get that little bit of a better exit off the final corner. So although he's not picking up a slipstream, he gets a stronger exit off the final corner because he's got no dirty air, and then that gives him just that little bit of breathing ground to not be able to have to defend too aggressively into turn 1. So quite a tactical race so far. We're just sticking behind in P7, waiting for a mistake to be made, keeping it very consistent. Actually drove this race really well. I was very impressed with my first day on the Fanatec. Like I say, we jumped on, not really practiced that much. We got some settings together that I actually really like, and I am going to put them into the descriptions of the videos in the future and get a video sorted with the settings that I use on the Fanatec, so everyone knows. As we see, for some unknown, I think Spider there just nudged the Viper in front of him, driven by Cuperton. I think he gave him, it might have been a bit of a lag punt that. It didn't look like it was intentional, so he's picked up a 3-second penalty for that little nudge on the Viper in front, and that is going to promote myself up into P6 as we fast forward the action to the penalty zone, where that Lamborghini is going to have to yield and take a 3-second penalty, which is going to pretty much destroy Spider's race. I think he's going to lose 3 or 4 more positions there. As you see, pulls over to the left hand side. It's not the worst place in terms of how much time you lose on this track. It's a bit of a weird place to put the penalty zone, if I'm honest, but yeah, right before a left hand corner. But that's how Polifoni have done it here, as we now into P6, following the Viper, and now just seeing if we can put the Viper in front of us under some pressure. I was trying to look after the tyres as well in this race. We ran the brake bys on 3 to the rear to try and save the front tyres a little bit. Probably could have gone to 4 to the rear, but I found that 3 to the rear felt really balanced, and the tyres were not a massive issue really. If you just kept pretty smooth on the throttle and didn't overdrive it through the corners, the car was reasonably good on tyres. As you see, we have got some wear, but we're trying to maintain that and keep our pace for the end, because the last 2 laps is where it's normally going to open up opportunities for overtaking. As what you find in these races is mainly what people tend to do is for 6-7 laps they're going to just want to push and get away from other cars. That's what I was trying to do at this stage. Now my aim from this point onwards is to try and break the slipstream to the car behind, so we're just trying to keep it nice and smooth. We're not going to go for any dives on that Viper. We're getting quite close into turn 1, but just trying to keep it clean. As we fast forward this action, you can see we're starting to pull away a little bit from the cars behind. It looks like we're about to break the slipstream. I think we've actually broken it at this point nearly. It's around 1.5 the gap, because what was happening is the cars behind were starting to battle. We were keeping it nice and smooth at the front. I think P5 was trying to do the same thing as me, not worry about going for any dives at this stage of the race, just trying to keep it smooth and get ourselves away from the other cars. So now at this stage you can see of the race, P4, P5 and myself, looks like we've got a bit of a gap to the cars behind. You can see in the mirror there's no one directly behind us, so we've got that gap up to 1.5 seconds as we fast forward to the last few laps of the race, and we'll rejoin the action for the last couple of races, where the last couple of laps in this race, as we follow behind that Dodge Viper and see if we can make a move at any point on the last few laps. So starting lap 10 now, we've got 2 laps to see if we can make any sort of moves. Again, this was quite a short race, no real strategy. I think this race would have been better being 14-15 laps with a compulsory pit stop in it, at least 1 or 2. I think Interlagos races tend to be better with that, with the added strategy, so you could start on different tyres. This race tended to be a bit of a just following the car in front, and not much you can do until someone makes a mistake if everyone's driving cleanly. So yeah, maybe it seems to be the way they're going with some of these FIA races. Some of them have strategy, some of them are straight races to the end, which is fair enough. They're mixing it up, changing it for different races, but it was quite short again. It is a bit strange having a 10-minute qualifying again for an 18-minute race, because obviously we're back to the 10-minute qualifying. So yeah, I think 10 minutes qualifying, I think it's better in some regards, but I don't think we need 10. I think 8 minutes would be enough to get 2 laps in if they reduce the tyre wear during qualifying as well. So we had a bit more of an iRacing style qualifying with no one. It'd be really good if we had no one else on track as well, because at the moment it's still very silly in qualifying. So yeah, maybe reduce the qualifying a bit and increase the race distances a little bit. I would prefer, but yeah, they're trying to. I think they're trying to create a variety of races, so it's fair enough. As we now follow behind the Dodge Viper for now coming up to the final lap. Now this is where you're going to find that people are going to start considering making moves in the race. You can see I'm trying to get as close as I can to that Viper, so that if he makes a move on that Corvette, I'm going to be in a position to take advantage of any positions gained as we follow very closely. And you can see we've actually started to gain a little bit on P3 and 2. The gap had increased quite a bit, but you can see we're starting to gain a little bit on them through the consistent driving that we've been doing between myself, P4 and 5. We've not been battling, we've been driving it really consistently, and we're starting to gain a bit of time on P2 and 3. So pace was looking actually quite strong for myself here, considering this was our first day with the wheel. Drove it really well, nice and smooth, not too many mistakes, getting much more used to the braking, which are working much better. The inverted pedals are working really nicely with the going directly into the Fanatec. As we see a mistake by the Corvette, the Dodge is going to try and take advantage of that. He's going to try and hang it around the outside, so I decided to try and tuck up on the inside. However, the Viper decided to back out of that move. I wasn't kind of expecting it, but I can see why he did it. He was just trying to defend. I think he realised if he tried to hang it around the outside there, he was going to be put into a compromised position and he might lose that P5 position. So I totally get what he did there. I probably would have done the same, but yeah, it caught me by surprise. I was going to go up the inside, unfortunately couldn't make that move, so trying to work that Viper a bit. Now you can see really getting on the throttle nicely, really nailing that corner. We've got very close to the rear of that Dodge Viper as we go through the long left hand corner into the braking zone, trying to get the braking point spot on to see if we can get a nice drag up the final straight on the power, nice and early, actually hooking that up really nice, you can see. But now the slipstream that the Viper is getting from the Corvette in front is just helping him drag that Viper in front along. And also I think the BOP change that Viper has had has made it quite fast down the straights. You can see that there's just nothing you can do, no matter how close you get with the exit, and not being able to make a move. So we come home in a P6. It was a bit of a static race, but we kept the driving nice and solid. Very close racing between myself and Spider, and then the Dodge Viper in front of us. So an enjoyable race for me. I actually quite like races like that. It's a shame there wasn't any strategy in it. I think that's something that could have really opened up the race and made it a little bit more entertaining for people watching. But yeah, that's how that race was. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a quick update for that race if you didn't get to see it live on stream. Hopefully these videos are a benefit to the people that can't catch the live streams. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, please hit that like button, and we'll be back with more of these catch-up videos, daily race videos and live streams very soon. So see you all soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.